and welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, and NWL and IWL Commissioner, Alex G. With me, as always, is Matt Riley. How you doing tonight, Matt?
I'm jacked and pumped. I'm excited about this podcast.
I once saw a movie on Skinamax called Jacked and Pumped.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's on 3 o'clock in the morning. This episode is the October cycle in review. So we're going to start off with champions, starting with the BRL. League champion, Mirrors. TV champion, Luther Alexander. Atlantic, Hot Stuff Adam Cash. Central, Willie the Woodsman. Dixie, Pitcher Ryan. Eastern, Nature Boy, Tommy Landau. Mountain, the Canadian Crusher, Jax Molson. Northern, Punk Rock Mike. Pacific, Rugged Rick Ross. Prairie, Urban Model, Aisha Diaz. Southern, Elijah the Mountain Man. Western, Lumberjack, Zach James. Tag Team, Hot Stop Adam Cash, and Fatty the Butcher. TV Tag Team, Dark Phoenix, FS, and the legendary Frank Leatherman Snow. 6-man, Hot Stuff Adam Cash, Luther Alexander, and Fatty the Butcher.
We retained.
Darn tootin'. TV 6-man, Dark Phoenix, FS, FL Slobberdonker, and the legendary Frank Leatherman Snow. So, Matt, what's going down in the BRL?
Oh, anarchy has struck the BRL.
Uh-oh.
As one of the year-long storylines took another turn as the sudden reappearance of a man we all thought was dead. Jimmy North is back in action.
Didn't we kill him?
I thought he was dead. So, yeah, we thought Adam Cash and Fatty the Butcher and Luther had put him away. But it turns out that he's rehabbed and ready to go, and he's back.
You sure he didn't go to rehab?
I don't think so.
I'm sorry, my trash talk came out. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, so I toot the own horn here. The 6-man title we retained. I was very surprised because there are so many good 6-man teams in the BRL. Kind of like the tag team situation where like every tag team is insanely good. And it was a 5-21 with the 6-man team, but not perfect. So, yeah. So otherwise, a lot of things going on. I was Luther Alexander, Senior Lucha, and his feud with Ghostly Shadows has took another turn. As this was the Autumn Anarchy 6 pay-per-view cycle, so we had a lot of big matches come out of that. I would urge you to go to the IWA website and download our latest IWA Ringside magazine to read more about it. But there was a lot of things that happened there. Anarchy, excitement, twists and turns. So I really enjoyed writing some of that and got good submissions from some of the players.
Yeah.
Now we have to see what happens with Rude Duty after the Russian death match.
A bear died.
A bear died. Yeah, so that was kind of like, oh shit, a bear died.
In addition, looks like we have we've gotten a letter from the Department of Homeland Security regarding Alexei Smirnov, Jake Scarlett, and that Max Mexican guy.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Nice job. I see a picture of about 6 Teamsters.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I'm like, I dig it. Again, we have the return of Jimmy North, which I guess is the big story, of course. We have a cool picture of Jane the Vixen Red, which is nice.
Yeah.
We have the fabulous 3 birds of Jimmy Electric, Prince Tun, and Gran Sabosa. So those guys looks pretty interesting. I think they're going to make a suitable impact here in the BRL. Again, the TT, the cycle, is phone book in size.
Yep, lots of good submissions. And good stuff. You know, it's good to see some storylines taking turns and moving. There's some new players that came in. So Virus came in. Trio of like baseball-related guys. I don't know who runs them. Yeah, like you said, the Russians, Rocket, Russian. I think they're called the Russian Roulette. Jake Scarlett and Alexei Smirnov. And then Noble House, of course. Noble House, out of control. Dangerous men, so...
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely made an impact in the Rude Duty Luther Alexander match.
Yes.
In addition, we have a submission. It's Still My Yard. It looks like someone got inspired and motivated.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So, great job overall on the BRL. I mean, again, I think most people, including ourselves, would consider this the top league currently in the IWA. There's no two ways about it. Again, we're going around reviewing all the other leagues too, and I don't see anything that kind of approaches the creativity, the level of activity currently in this league.
Yeah, I actually was exchanging some text, well, I guess chat messages with a player who left a league I shall not name, but he was saying how he was frustrated because he went there and he was sold a bill of goods and he was like, oh, I was all excited to get there and I got there and just it wasn't what I hoped it would be. And I told him, it happens a lot. Some leagues go through streaks where they'll have really hot, lot of contributions and things happen. Players are getting busy, whatever. But one of the non-IWAR leagues I would safely plug and say anybody can go there and have a good time is the LWL, which soon we'll be reviewing in our next non-IWAR leagues.
Yeah,
teaser.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
For now, I mean, the last thing I would say is the IWAR draft is coming up, so.
Okay. Do we get a hard date on that yet?
Well, I'm hoping. Let's see, we're looking at the next round of play, if you will, is going to be November 1st is the next BRL deadline. So I'm looking at probably the week of the 15th, sometime that week. Because the next issue has all the previews for the players to choose from. So that gives us like a week and a half, 2 weeks to like read it, decide who we want to try to pick up, and then we have the draft. We draft everybody, and then it gets announced. Well, it's going to be live on the Facebook page.
I already have my draft board already up, so there you go. I'm doing my due diligence.
I got what's his name, Mel Kiper involved. So let me tell you, this guy is a draft prick. He's great. He's gonna be awesome. He's retired. Okay, forget about him.
He's inactive.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like we'll get to NWL soon, but I'll say the NWL is like so much fun right now. It's ridiculous. So.
All right, next up is the CWL Unified Toxic Streaming Media. Doug Gavilon. United States Hazard. Yukon Big Joe. Caribbean Koenig. Amazon Basin Power Jack. British Isles Carlton Cornelius Waldorf. Arabian Railroad Warrior Spike. South African Constantine. Siberian Battling Brian Kelly. East Asian Craven. Oceanic Alex Von Schnapp. Unified Tag Team Von Schnapp's again.
Woo!
Yet another Tag Team Championship. Streaming Media Tag Team Hazard and Toxic. Unified Six-Man Victor, Alex, and Actual Von Schnapp. And Streaming Media Six-Man The Railroad Warriors Hammer, Ty, and Spike. What's a railroad tie?
A railroad tie is you have the tracks,
the
spikes. The tie is the wooden block below it.
Hey, okay.
I grew up with a dad who modeled railroads, so.
Okay. Makes sense. So what's going on in the CW? I see a lot of action on their Facebook page.
Yeah, if you haven't been aware, there's been a transition taking from the formerly packed up like Monday Night Raw version of the trash talk that was presented like an episode of Raw. Now it's transitioned to Facebook. Although last time, my fault, for whatever reason, when I sent my email in, I didn't remember to like copy and paste my TT. So it showed up in the bulletin, but not in the page. So, whoops. But there's a lot going on. Continental Divide is coming up. I'm actually possibly writing a match or two for that. And there's a lot going on in the league, but it's kind of a weird transition right now. It's playing. I think the draft might be one of the best things to help this league kind of shake things up. Same with the IWL. I think a little bit of fresh blood will help mix things around, cause some havoc. I've been actually, a couple of players have been asking about some of the CWL. I've been saying, well, you have a six-man team. I'm just going to say the Von Schnapp's always looking for opponents. So, yeah, I would say there's a lot going on here. It's still tag title until six-man title, so there's definite competition there. I think the big news is that Black Wrestlers Matter regained the Tandem Championship, but then their contract ran out, and they threatened to leave the company.
Yeah.
So, could go either way. Again, the CWL is a good, solid league, and there's a lot of good players in there, so you can have fun. Give it a go.
Alrighty, next up is the IWL League. Dylan Matthews. TV, Shotgun, James Carnage. Appalachian, Creed Michaels. Coastal States, The Great David. Deep South, Texas, Jesse Tombstone. Great Lakes, Chris Endgame. Great Plains, Blackjack Robertson. Gulf Coast, Rowdy Rescagini. Mississippi Valley, Crimson Grim. Pacific States, Aiden the Great. Rocky Mountain, American Justice. Sunbelt, Cowboy, Jim Spur. Tag Team, American Justice and Aiden the Great. TV Tag Team, Craven Cross and Mike Mason. Six-Man, Eric Endgame, Vicious, Vincent Payne, Chris Endgame. TV Six-Man, Captain Bud, Drunken Wasted, Rich Ron Bruiser, and Aiden the Great. Hey, don't you think the Endgames and VVP need like a stable name or something?
Yeah.
I just called them the Endgames, but obviously Vicious Vincent Payne is not an Endgame. They need a name. Someone should help us with that.
There you go.
So, Matt, what's going on in the IWL?
Well, the pay-per-view, Fortune or Fired, was this cycle, but do we want to wait till next cycle to reveal the winners? I know some people won't really know how the process was, so.
Oh, we can reveal it now. It's fun.
Okay. Well, I will. The RX versus IWL Heroes Showdown didn't go so well for RX, so I'm sure Atari will claim that these results were all rigged.
They lost 6-1.
Rigged, I say. Rigged.
In addition, in terms of the American Territories match, Creed Michaels retained his championship, which makes that even more interesting that the fact that he won the IWL Heavyweight Championship, defeating Redwood Snodgrass. So currently, as of right now, he is a double champ.
Oh, boy.
Bless his heart. Also, Ali Atari did earn a American Territories Championship shot down the road. Blackjack Robertson earned a tag team championship match down the road.
Yeah. I will say I look forward to the Atari next step with that title situation.
Yeah. So for those of you who may not know or may not have heard this, I will be taking over as commissioner of the IWL next cycle. It'll be cycle 60. Like I said before, most of my changes will be cosmetic for the most part. Nothing too over the top. Like we're going to change the logo. We're going to change post to post a little bit.
Scotty Flash has to wear lipstick.
A little bit, yeah. Not a whole lot. I guess the first thing we're going to talk about is kind of Soul Survivor, which is rapidly approaching to be cycle 64. Mm-hmm. Again, as some of you who may not know what Soul Survivor is, it's a 6-ring kind of War Games meets the Royal Rumble inside of a steel cage. Probably the best way to describe that. It's going to be a $1 to enter. The winner of Soul Survivor will receive an IWL Heavyweight Championship shot down the road. And this year's prizes are as follows. So for every wrestler who's entered, the winner will receive $1 in IWA credits. So, for example, if there are 50 wrestlers entered, they will receive $50 in IWA credits. In addition, the winner of this year's Soul Survivor will receive a championship belt.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I know, it's going to be crazy. So I do expect everyone to enter to get their opportunity on winning a championship belt. The way this match kind of works out, there will be 7 holds picked at random, and then we'll go through the holds, and then the person with the highest totals from those 7 holds that are picked out will win, and then go on and so forth down the line. If you have any questions about that match, please let me know, and I'll explain it to you. And I hope everyone enjoys the prizes, and good luck to the winner.
The winner
is you.
It won't be Sandy the Bear of San Francisco. Poor Sandy the Bear.
Yeah, that's his heart. So in terms of TT this cycle, we have the debut of Mike Mason, which is nice to see. He's a former Revolution Extreme member, the only member of Revolution Extreme to ever leave alive. In addition, we have from the End Games, which is nice to see. They're saying that the Revolution Extreme should retire. So I don't think that's happening anytime soon. And then we have a triple spike pile driver that Styles and Matthews gave Valen and Lowen.
Oh.
So they're going to continue that feud down the road. And fantastic. So anything you want to add to the IWL?
looking forward to the fallout to come, and I would expect to hear some noise out of the pay-per-view for sure. I know Jim Spur was outraged that his match was left off the pay-per-view.
Yeah, he deserved it.
I mean, who wanted? I think everyone wanted to see the Outhouse match.
It was a dark match, wasn't
it? Yeah.
All right, next up is the NWL. League champion, Aaron McFleece. TV champion, Rock Simpson. Atlantic, touchy-feely, fingers Fairlane. Central, Alpha Male XD. Dixie, Joe Boring. Eastern, Black Belt Jones. Mountain, Bombshell Warrior. Not the Bombshell Warrior, another Bombshell Warrior. Northern, Ulysses Monroe. Pacific, the Untamed Iron Bull. Prairie, Piper the Goofball Monroe. Southern, Vic Villain. Western, Durgan. Tag Team, Fortune 500, Aaron McFleece and his partner, Hostile Takeover. TV Tag Team, Johnny Vegas and Vic Villain. 6-man, we have Mark Malice, Johnny Vegas, and Vic Villain. TV 6-man, we have Aaron McFleece, Strict Lee Business, and Hostile Takeover. Strict Lee Business is my new favorite name in the NWL. I love it. Love it. What's going on NWL-wise?
Well, first, for starters, mentioned that Fortune 500 Aaron McFleece retained the title. Then, topped it off with the Metro and Gold Federation, which was impressive.
Now, Matt, how hard is it to win the Metro?
The way the Metro works, because he actually posted when he saw the IWA put the sneak preview. Yep. He was like, "So what's the Metro?" So the Metro works like this: the IWA takes the top 6 leagues, and the best champion out of those 6 is the Metro champion. A pretty prestigious belt because the top 6 leagues, usually the 6 of the toughest leagues. As you can figure out, the NWL doesn't have one of the strongest cast of strategies, so it's kind of the top 5 leagues, really. But all the more impressive that a rookie would win the Metro, and it's really kind of cool. I always say, the guys, like, we're rooting for you guys. We Absolutely. Love to see NWL players do well. So he had that 500 with that, so he took that with a 500. And then touchy-feely Fingers Fairlane took the IWA-wide Atlantic with a 501.
Nice.
So, very nice.
I knew a girl in high school named Touchy Feely.
Oh, jeez.
I think her name was Kim Feely, so we told her Touchy Feely. Anyway, that's a whole other story.
All right. And I will also say that, good to see some wrestlers getting title stuff. I noticed, feud-wise, that the Western champion was Billy Jack Novak, who's been shitting on Durgan for months, and Durgan took the title from him. So it's like, oh, good feud material. And then, of course, highlight of the night, Johnny Vegas and Unnatural Vic Villain. Good to see those guys stepping it up. McFleece just missed a Triple Crown. He got kind of like the minor league Triple Crown with the TV 6-man.
Yeah. We
have some really, really strong players. I mean, I was, again, talking to another player earlier. It was last night. And we were talking about, he was like, well, what's the quality of the player, would you say, in the NWL? And I'd say it's probably the strongest cast we've had since, 2012 or 13. We had, Connick and Rowdy and Luther and Booty, and man, we had so many good Solace and Damien and all these guys that came through. We had a really strong cast. These guys really good, some really good players, and it's kind of a combination now. And we've got this matter of the players that are strong, like Neo Dragon is awesome. His promos are great. Creature Feature John Campbell's promos are awesome. And if you're listening and don't know it, Creature Feature John Campbell is a wrestler. Follow him on Facebook, and you'll find out. He's on our Facebook page.
Yep.
Killer Clown is doing well. His feud with Rock Simpson is kind of getting a little crazier. It's building up. So that's what's good is all the storylines they have momentum and they're going places. We like to see that.
Did you see the Super PAC Summit, which I find really interesting? It looks like all the babyfaces came together and had some sort of meeting.
Yes.
And I wonder what happened.
Yeah, and that's good because a lot of leagues really hurt for good guys, and this league's actually pretty stacked.
Yeah, man. Got my favorite wrestler, Jerome the Bone Smitty, with a nice picture.
Yes, I always enjoy Smitty's pictures.
Yes.
I like some new wrestlers came in. We have kind of a New Japan feel to them. Super Lynx, Lion Mask, North Sea Tiger. I also noticed that The Russian Bull, Ivan Kozlov, is almost at 500. He's 166, 188, so he's crawling his way back up. And he had contacted me about improving his record, and I'll just talk about it here now. If you're ever in a situation where you're just really frustrated with your record, and you're like, oh man, I'm in the hole here, there's a couple ways to go about it. You can dig your way out and do the match deal for $12. You get 20 matches against anyone you want, and you'll also get 20 scrub wins. So one of your wrestlers, if you have more than one wrestler, you can assign it to whoever it is. But if you have just one wrestler, that's fine too. So you get those 20 wins, so all of a sudden you're chipping away at your win-loss record. Now, win-loss records, for the most part, don't do a lot in experienced leagues. Like even now, like the number 10 contender is 300 wins, 63 losses for a net yield of like 260, right? Or 240, I'm sorry, 230 is. 237. So you've really had to win a lot of matches to get that high in the rankings. You're much better off just facing every regional champion and playing the odds. Now, what you can do is you can reboot a wrestler. So you go out of the way and you say, I'd like to restart my wrestler, and you lose all your money, all your wins and losses, all your stars, and you start over from scratch. I would always say, in that vein, it's better to write in a storyline. So I said, you could do something like, have your wrestler get injured, have them leave, have a masked wrestler come in and just start over, and then you can have them unmask and be, hey, look, it's me, haha. There's various things you can do. I did something once in one league where I had a wrestler who got hurt, and then this other wrestler came in, and like for the longest time, everyone didn't know who he was, and he unmasked, and he was actually a bad guy. It was fun, but you can do a lot with it. So it's a way to like kind of twist the situation to make it more viable. So I'm happy to see Russian Bull Ivan Kozlov's crawling his way out. We had 65 active wrestlers. And again, Ghetto Master Jr. still inactive. He loaded up the wins. He's at almost 3,000. He's just shy of 3,000 wins. And just sitting there. Yeah,
I do want to mention a great interview by the Monroe family. I thought it was awesome.
Yes.
So, great job there as well.
There's so much talent here, and they really do a good job. It really is enjoyable to read.
Quite a bit from our good friend Johnny Vegas and his crew. Good stuff there. And then we have a friendly reminder from our friend and yours, Mike Smalley.
Yes.
Which I don't know exactly what he's going for there, unfortunately. But I took care of that in the roster rundown, so no worries.
Nice.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for the NWL. Guys, keep up the great work. It's fantastic. Yes. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've been leaving in the who's who quite a bit, NWL. And you might see it every other cycle to make sure that the newer wrestlers get a feel for kind of the who everyone is in terms of the administration and the NWL. So don't get weirded out if you see it a bunch of times over and over again. But again, guys, you have to realize that I get new players. I get at least 5 to 7 new players every cycle. So
right. And one thing we can talk about too, we're doing a new thing now where the Thursday before the Gold Fed runs. So one thing to keep in mind is if you play the IWA, you can email in your strategies. So if you play by mail and you want to send in your matches and trash talk, that's fine. You can email in your strategies as long as you are very clear about who your wrestlers are, their ID numbers, their hold numbers, so don't repeat your holds. So what we're doing now on the Thursday before Gold runs, which is usually a Tuesday morning, your information to the IWA has to be in the Monday before Gold runs by 8 a.m. So like Sunday night, email it in, and you're fine. What we're doing on that Thursday is sort of a Gold Federation hold workshop. So last cycle, I kind of broke down the holds you want to look at, the holds you want to avoid, and this way it gave players a chance to kind of look at the hold a little more in depth, and it was very popular, so we're going to do it again. Some players were asking, can you do it sooner? But the thing is, I need to get the results from Iron and Steel so we know which holds have dropped and we can automatically drop off. So it's really a matter of just engaging the game in a different way and having fun with it.
Absolutely, that's a great idea. And I definitely need to attend the workshop myself because I average of 494. I'd rather just write TT. But that's just me.
Hey, all right. As I told the player just the other day, when you do really well with your holds, it's great. but it can be a double-edged sword. There was a situation years ago where a player in his second cycle won the IWAR tag team titles. And he was like, this is easy. I'll do it every other cycle. I'll be the best tag team ever. And when he didn't do it, like the next month, he was like mad, and then he was upset. And I'm like, dude, it's hard to win those. And sure enough, he quit the game. But again, if you trash talk really well, it's a good way to ban the game for you, beyond just the holds.
I definitely agree with that. All right, so we're going to go into some IWAR wide stuff. So you got anything to present in terms of the IWAR at large?
For starters, we have, of course, the IWAR draft, which is coming up.
Yes.
And that is going to be in mid-November, probably the week of the 15th. We'll actually post the date. So what's going to happen is the next issue of the IWA Ringside magazine is going to have like the last issue had the 4 pages of Autumn Anarchy 6. This issue is going to have 4 pages of wrestler profiles. So it's kind of like who your top picks might be, pictures, a little bit about them. Players have been sending me different things like, pictures and theme songs, accomplishments. We also did kind of a side homework project that's been very popular. Is I put the link to a website called flamingtext.com. And what you do at flamingtext, like a text message, text.com, and you can design your own logo for your wrestler. And it's a really easy engine to use and edit. And I've had probably about 20 players so far send me their wrestler's logo.
Nice.
And it's a cool way to incorporate that imagery. When we do covers, I kind of just fudge it. But this way, if I have the wrestler's logo and name, I can incorporate it into the storyline. It's just a fun way to expand the game, And it was funny, one of the players in a different league was like, can I use this? I'm like, absolutely, spread it around. It makes it easier for us when we're doing artwork. So the IWAR draft coming up. Let's see, the wrestling logos. Bound for Glory just got started. We had the first round. So what I've got to do is, we had a couple of late entries. So what I did is I kind of just juggled things around a little bit, and I actually took 3 of my own wrestlers out of it because we're not having matches.
One of mine too. Sure.
Yeah, well, you're a bum. So what it is I got usually I would email me as soon as they got something. But what happens is they get letters that come to them. They don't open them because they'll say to IWA care of BRL or care of CWL. So the day that putting all the envelopes open, they go, oh shit, someone signed up for this. And I get an email from Kim saying oh hey, can you fit this guy in too? Well, because we're not having matches and I'm using just the strategy totals, it's a lot easier for me to just kind of patch it together. The late entries got in there, so everyone is in there. So the last entries are all set. The tag team derby is also underway, but that's a little more complex. So the late entries in that, what I'm doing is there were 2 entries in 2 different leagues. So what I did is I used other tag teams that are kind of active as well in Trash Talk as kind of like a dummy team. If they advance, hey, good for them. But our team got back in that way. So hooray. I won't mention what our team was, but shush. One day we'll tell you the secret of that team. So Tag Team Derby's underway. Bound for Glory is underway. The Triple D Cup 6-man tournament also underway. And that was another similar situation where we had a late entry, but unfortunately, the IWA emailed me the morning it was going on. I was on lunch break at work, and I texted him back and was like, can you set this match up instead? So we got the right coverage for the matches. So it'll look a little funky when you see the next bulletin because I had to move some things around, but it'll all work out. And what actually happened was we had an odd number of teams, and one of the teams, the 2 teams facing off, had a double elimination. They both had a time limit draw, and that just made it easy to slide that team in there. So hooray us. I think that's the major stuff. I mean, I know the next pay-per-view is Battlecade. That is the holiday issue. And we are tinkering with the idea of, quote-unquote, taking a month or a cycle off. What we would have a pre-written issue. That would be kind of a combo.
We have the recap, right?
Yes. Well, we have, in January, usually we do our January awards issue. And that's actually not a hard issue to write because you're just recapping the previous year, and it's a lot of stats and previous winners of things and like that. So there's all that. So yeah, but we're working on that. But the idea is that we were like, hey, let's work it so we can quote unquote take a cycle off and basically write like a quarter we normally write, which would be like a vacation for us.
Yeah, for real. All right, fantastic. So we are once again officially out of time. So catch us next week when we discuss the LWL and the PKL. It should be a good episode. So for Matt Riley, I'm